It was a Friday night at Donovan's, a sleek, upscale restaurant tucked in the heart of San Diego. The place buzzed with energy, soft jazz floating through the air, wine glasses clinking, and conversations weaving together like background music. Candlelight danced off polished tables and glimmered in the crystal chandeliers above. At the center of it all sat Evelyn Monroe. You couldn't miss her if you tried. She wore wealth like it was woven into her skin, diamond necklace, designer blazer, nails painted a perfect nude pink. The kind of woman who didn't need to say she was important, it just radiated off her. She laughed loudly, sipped her wine slowly, and scanned the room with an expression that said, I own this place. Meanwhile, across the room, someone very different moved through the crowd. Emily. She was barely 20, working back-to-back shifts and saving every dollar for college. Her uniform clung slightly to her arms from the heat of the kitchen, and her name tag, faded and crooked, barely clung to her shirt. You could tell she was exhausted by the way she moved, carefully navigating the maze of tables, trying not to drop the tray balanced in her hands. Her path eventually led her to Evelyn's table. Emily offered a polite smile. Here you are, ladies. I hope you enjoy your meals. Evelyn didn't look up at first. She just stared at her plate, lips pursed. Then, slowly, dramatically, she lifted a single eyebrow. This is supposed to be medium rare. Her voice sliced through the air. It looks more like a piece of rubber. And why did this take so long? Honestly, we've been waiting forever. Emily blinked, caught off guard. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I can take it back to oh, spare me the apology, Evelyn snapped, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear. It's not that complicated to get an order right. Or is it? Her friends giggled, not even trying to hide it. Emily's face flushed. She nodded quickly and reached for the plate, her hands trembling. She turned to head back to the kitchen when Evelyn added, under her breath, but just loud enough, they'll hire anyone these days. You'd think carrying a plate didn't require a brain. More laughter. This time sharper. Crueler. And that's when the man in the corner put down his glass. He'd been watching the entire thing, quietly, without expression. Dressed in a simple gray suit, he didn't look like much. But there was something in the way he watched that said he was paying attention. Really paying attention. Emily paused at the kitchen door, her knuckles white around the plate. She could feel the heat behind her eyes, that sting of humiliation that made your throat tight. But she wasn't going to cry. Not here. Not in front of her. Back at the table, Evelyn was still talking, loud, dismissive, giddy with power. She looked like she was about to cry just from setting down a plate, she snorted. If she can't handle this, she should be flipping burgers. That was the moment. The man in the gray suit stood up. He didn't rush. He didn't make a scene. Just walked calmly to the restaurant's manager and leaned in to speak. The manager listened, nodded. His eyebrows lifted in recognition. Back at the table, Evelyn was completely unaware that the evening was shifting around her. Minutes later, Emily returned, setting down a freshly prepared dish in front of Evelyn. I had the chef remake it for you, ma'am. I hope this is better. Evelyn glanced at the plate with mock interest. I suppose it'll do. Just try not to mess it up next time. Honestly, learn how to carry yourself, you work in a high-end place. Emily nodded. Yes, ma'am. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Then, the manager approached. He carried a tray with a bottle of champagne and a sealed envelope. Emily walked beside him, her head down. Ladies, he said, calm and professional. A small gift from the owner himself. Evelyn's eyebrows lifted. Well, finally, she said, flashing a smug smile. Someone who knows how to treat valued guests. The manager placed the envelope in front of her. Mr. Donovan wanted to personally address your visit tonight. Evelyn's smile faltered. The owner? The man in the gray suit stepped forward. Yes, he said simply. I'm Charles Donovan. And this is my restaurant. The room went quiet. All eyes on them. Evelyn's expression froze. Oh. Mr. Donovan, I didn't realize. Charles didn't waste a second. He nodded toward Emily. This young woman is my niece, he said. She's hardworking, dedicated, and someone I'm proud to have on my team. Evelyn's friends shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Evelyn went pale. I overheard how you spoke to her, Charles continued, his voice calm but cutting. And while we're always open to feedback, there's a difference between criticism and cruelty. Evelyn tried to speak, but he gently raised his hand. Money might buy you a seat at this table, he said, but it doesn't give you the right to demean the people who serve you. The silence in the restaurant was deafening. Then he turned to Emily. You handled that with more grace than most could. I'm proud of you. Emily's eyes shimmered, but she didn't let a tear fall. She nodded silently, her chest rising and falling slowly. Then Charles turned back to Evelyn. I could ask you to leave and never return, he said, but I believe there's a better way to make this moment matter. He gestured toward the champagne. This was meant as a token of goodwill, he said. But instead, I'll be donating the value of this bottle, and your entire check, to a local charity that helps young women like Emily pursue education and career opportunities. Gasps echoed around the room. Someone whispered, good for him. Evelyn's voice cracked. Mr. Donovan, I think this is, a bit much. Charles didn't flinch. This isn't about punishment, he said. It's about accountability. And maybe a reminder that how we treat people, especially those we think can't do anything for us, says more about us than anything else. There was no applause. No dramatic music. Just a thick, raw silence. Then Charles turned to the room. Let this be a reminder to all of us, he said. Kindness is free. But its impact? It can last a lifetime. Soft applause broke out. Emily looked around, stunned, as a few patrons smiled at her, offering silent nods of support. Back at her table, Evelyn sat stiffly, her hands trembling on her lap. Her friends looked down at their napkins, too embarrassed to speak. When they finally got up to leave, Evelyn didn't meet anyone's gaze. Her stride wasn't confident anymore, it was measured, unsure. Outside, she paused on the sidewalk, breathing in the cold air. Her friends tried to console her, but she waved them off. I just need a minute, she said quietly. Inside, Emily returned to work. Her head a little higher, her shoulders a little straighter. And everyone who saw her now, really saw her. Not just as a waitress, but as a young woman with strength, pride, and dignity. Charles watched from the corner, sipping his water. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. Because tonight, something shifted. Not just in that room, but in the hearts of the people who witnessed it. And sometimes, that's all it takes. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs a reminder. It doesn't cost anything to be kind, but the impact can last a lifetime. And if you want more stories that stir your soul and spark real change, don't forget to subscribe.